Hello again. I'll say hello again once more because I'm aware that the sound is atrocious on the microphone which I'm currently using. Speaking at the publication of a report into violence against women and girls yesterday, Deputy Chief Constable Maggie Blythe said, "We know that some of this is also linked to radicalisation of young people online. We know the influencers, Andrew Tate. The element of influencing of particular boys is quite terrifying." Andrew Tate is, to many people, something of a bogeyman who is to be blamed for much of what is wrong with British society today. Miss Blythe tells us that police counter-terrorism units are involved, trying to see how boys have become radicalised into hating women and being violent towards them. I am always suspicious when somebody comes up with a simple solution to a hugely complex problem, and especially so when one named person is broadly hinted to be at the bottom of all the trouble. It's being suggested that if only we could remove Andrew Tate from the internet, then we might well be on the way to reducing levels of misogyny and aggression towards women. This sounds to me preposterous. We might be better advised to ask ourselves why Andrew Tate is so popular and what it is he is offering that so many teenage boys want so badly. Actually, we can sum it up in a few words. Andrew Tate offers youngsters a chance to make lots of money quickly and to have sex with lots of women without any complications like relationships and so on. To be blunt, what's not to like from the perspective of a young man? Isn't that kind of thing what many young men have always hankered after? Get rich quick and unlimited sex? Does anybody really think that teenage boys were not after those same things in the 1960s, the 1930s, the 1890s, or the 1660s? There is nothing new about what Andrew Tate is promising. I remember that in the small ads in the Exchange and Mart magazine in the 1960s, there were always advertisements for booklets and correspondence courses offering to teach you how to be successful with women and also how to become rich fast without working hard and saving carefully. The conspicuous consumption of Andrew Tate is not really new either. He boasts of owning 33 cars, although why one would wish to own that many vehicles is something of a mystery to me. Although I can see that this too might be part of a teenage boy's dream lifestyle. The difference today is that at one time this kind of vulgar ostentation was seen as being a little ridiculous. Does anybody remember Harry Enfield's Loads of Money character in the 1980s? People laughed at such people in those days, but today we regard them as being on a par with terrorists. The attitude toward women which influencers like Tate supposedly promote was hugely popular at least 60 years ago to my certain knowledge. Here was a piece of advice that was circulating in the 1960s and sums up the approach to women by some men in those days. It is very vulgar, and I must ask viewers to forgive my quoting it in full, for although it is shocking, it reveals that the modern idea of misogyny has been around for a very long time. Here is dating advice from the 1960s. Find 'em, feel 'em, fuck 'em, forget 'em. Well, I did warn you that it was vulgar. Make no apology for this, though, because it gives the lie to the modern idea that there is something new and dangerous about misogyny in Britain. It has always been around. Here's something else which was often heard among men in those days. There's no such thing as rape because a woman with her skirt up can run faster than a man with his trousers down. Shocking? Of course. But I dare say that men still pass on such old proverbs to each other. Pretending that there is a sudden epidemic of misogyny is foolish. Blaming internet influencers is more foolish still. Young men want certain things, and if somebody promises to tell them how to get those things, then a lot of youngsters will listen eagerly to that man. They always did. The only difference now is that the awful old sayings which I quoted just now used to be passed by word of mouth, whereas now they are transmitted across the internet. There is, as Ecclesiastes remarked 3,000 years ago, nothing new under the sun.